planet like sleepless nights at the chateau. Visualize it, I'll give it something to do. Kuch, wherever we go. Visualize it, I'll give it something to do. Get a wildfire burning. Visualize it, I'll give it something to do. It's hot and going hard. Visualize it, I'll give it something to do.
Hey everybody! So I'm assuming that if you've clicked on this video, you're probably interested in going to Las Vegas. Now maybe it's your first time going, or maybe you've gone a couple times before. Now, I'm no travel expert or anything like that. I've been to Las Vegas now 11 times over the last few years. And every time I've gone, I've always had the time of my life. I've gone alone, I've gone in big groups, small groups, done all kinds of different things on my different trips there, and every time I go, I still have a blast. So what I wanted to do is just kind of share some tips and tricks that I've learned over the years on planning your Vegas trip that might help you save some money and have a better time next time you go. So, tip number 1, plan early. The earlier you can plan, the better. Anything about 3 months or longer in advance of when you plan on going is ideal. Now I understand not everyone can always plan that far in advance. Maybe something came up last minute, a friend invited you, who knows? But if you have time, you're looking to go, you've got an open calendar, try to plan at least 3 months in advance. And I'll tell you why. The first one is that a lot of the casinos and the hotels, they offer special rates for people who book far in advance. So your rates can be significantly cheaper than if you try to book them within a few weeks or within the month that you actually want to go. So not only does that save you a lot of money, but again, if you book in advance, then once you've got the hotel out of the way and once you've got airfare out of the way, that leaves the rest of the time to be able to figure out what you want to do while you're there. So really anything between 24 hours and like 3 days in Vegas, you can do a whole lot. You can pack a lot into just a weekend in Vegas. So by booking early, again, you save a ton of money and it just makes it a lot less of a hassle when it comes to what you want to do that weekend. You've already got the big stuff figured out. Now, a lot of these hotels, like I said, will run specials. The Cosmopolitan currently has a plan no regrets offer. So if you go on their website and look, you can get up to 20% off your stay if you book at least 2 nights, 60 days out of when you would go. So that's kind of one example. But again, based on availability, those prices can skyrocket. So if you try and book a hotel within about a week or 2 of when you want to go, especially if it's peak season, it's going to be expensive. So Vegas peak season tends to be between Memorial Day and Labor Day in the summer. That's when the day clubs are open, the pool clubs are open, the pools are open for all the casinos. It's one of the big major attractions to going to Vegas and a big money maker for the casinos. So again, those rates can be a little bit higher because that's when most people want to go. All right, tip number 2, join hotel loyalty programs. So there's 2 that I want to talk about. Now these hotel loyalty programs, the idea is that if you sign up for the program and you consistently stay with that hotel or that series of hotels that are linked within the same company, you get rewarded for staying there. And not only do you get rewarded, but even before you ever really step foot in some of those hotels, you may even get special rates and offers that you wouldn't get on regular travel sites. So it saves you money regardless. Now, the first one is called the Identity Program. The Identity Program is exclusively with the Cosmopolitan. It's not with any other hotel. The Cosmopolitan itself is a Marriott hotel. It's owned by Marriott. So you can use Marriott rewards points whilst if you want to book a room at the Cosmopolitan. However, the issue is the exchange rate for Marriott rewards points to booking a room in the Cosmopolitan, not that great. Identity points, I think, are interchangeable also with Marriott rewards points, but it's a pretty bad exchange ratio. I think it's like 5 or something like that. I think it's like 5 Marriott rewards points for 1 identity point. So it's not really a good exchange ratio, but hey, if you are flying and staying at Marriott hotels all the time for business, like, hey, use it. That might help you. However, the benefits of the identity program, not only do you get special offers for discounts when you want to stay there again, but you can also get like complimentary valet, complimentary self-parking, 2 for 1 at their buffet, 2 for 1 concert tickets, complimentary free nights. I know with their Sterling benefit, tier benefit, which is like kind of the entry-level benefit that you get once you've stayed like 1 or 2 nights, you can get 1 complimentary free night per year. And then once you go to gold status, which that's about 20,000 points, you kind of have to spend a lot of money. I think I stayed at the Cosmopolitan 3 times. That year I was able to get the gold tier benefit, and the one time I spent far too much money than I probably should have. But anyway, the benefits were nice. You get 2 complimentary free nights per year, and you get 2 complimentary companion nights. So what that means is not only do you get 1 room comped, but you get 2 rooms comped on the 2 nights that you want to stay. Now it has to be during the same time that you're staying, but if you have a friend or another couple that you want to bring along with you that weekend, they can have their room comped as well. Okay. Tip number 3. I held up 2 fingers. God damn it. Okay. Tip number 3. Book directly through those loyalty program or hotel websites. Now, I know a lot of people tend to use those travel websites, Expedia, Trivago, Priceline, whatever, and they're fine. They make it very convenient for if you want to book together, and sometimes if you book their package deals where you do airfare and hotel together, it can be a little bit cheaper. What I would recommend is, for the hotels themselves, you can get very good prices if you use those loyalty programs that you just signed up for. Because again, with those complimentary nights and things like that, it kind of pays for itself if you really plan on going to Vegas, multiple occasions. What I would say is that I would try to avoid using any of those travel websites. Again, they take a commission, a small fee every time you book through them, and they're not necessarily always giving you the cheapest rate. They're giving you the cheapest rate in comparison to the other travel websites that are pretty much paying the same thing. But if you book directly through those hotels or those warranty program or those loyalty programs, you're probably going to get your best rate for a hotel, and then book the airfare separate directly through the airlines. That's what I've always done, and it's usually helped me save money. However, there's also the possibility of looking into the airlines themselves. Sometimes you can actually book your airfare with the hotel, and the nice thing is if you can get a good deal, and again, if you look early enough. The first time I ever went, I booked through American Airlines directly, and I was able to stay at the MGM Grand. I think it was $650 total, and that's not just hotel, that's hotel and airfare, flying from Philadelphia to Las Vegas, round trip, 2 nights in Vegas, $650. That's pretty good. Okay, so now we're gonna get into recommendation number 4. Now, real quick, real simple, regarding airfare, the earlier you book, the better. I'd recommend booking straight through the airlines. However you normally book airfare, if you find whatever works for you for a cheap price, great. Finding airfare into Las Vegas is not difficult. You can find direct flights from pretty much anywhere in the US. There's even a lot of international direct flights to Vegas. Generally, as far as connecting flights, you'll see a lot connect through either Phoenix, Denver, or Dallas. So just something to be aware of. Whatever works for you. Generally, I have Southwest membership, whatever you call it. I'm a Southwest Airlines dude that I booked through them and their app. God, I sound like an idiot. Anyway, if you book through them, they have a ton of flights that are direct to Vegas. Airfare is usually pretty cheap for them if you use their want to get away flight. For military personnel, if you go ahead and you call them, give them your DoD ID number while you're booking, they will help you book. Usually they can often give you special military price for active duty, National Guard, things like that. So something to consider. Okay, now this last one, I wouldn't really call it a tip, it's more just a little bit of advice. It's my opinion. But what I want to do is talk now about where to stay in Las Vegas. So Obviously, there's a ton of different choices for hotels and casinos on the Strip, off the Strip, northern end of the Strip, south end of the Strip, Fremont Street up to the north. It's a little bit dependent on what you want to do, what your price point is, and kind of factoring in some externalities that come with where you book. So my recommendation that I always tell people is stay on the Strip. One of the reasons that I tell people to stay on the Strip is the Strip is very easy to walk around on. There's a couple of different pathways that go over the Strip that allow you to walk on either side. You can walk up and down pretty much from the southernmost end that really kind of starts where Mandalay Bay is, Mandalay Bay and Luxor. And then once you go north of that, that's where kind of the central part of the Strip starts. So that's where you'll see New York, you'll see the MGM on the other side. And then north of that is really kind of the main drag. That's the main part of the Strip. So anywhere you stay on the Strip makes it really easy to walk around. You don't have to worry about getting a taxi if you don't want to. You can walk around pretty much anywhere on the Strip. About 20 minutes to really an hour is like the furthest it'll take you to walk on the Strip. So it's not too bad. And again, if you kind of plan around, it shouldn't be much of an issue. Honestly, sometimes taking a taxi can be longer due to the wait on the taxi line. You'll see if it's peak hours, like if it's dinner time and you're trying to get a taxi when most people are trying to go to where they want to get a show or where they're trying to go for their dinner reservation, taxi lines in a lot of those casinos can get really long. And on top of that, it can get expensive too. So again, if you can just walk around, saves you a lot of money. And there's no open container laws in Vegas. So again, if you're walking around the Strip, you and your friends, feel free to drink while you're on your way to dinner, help pregame if you're going to the club or something like that. And later on that night, you can help overcome your hangover. So there's a couple benefits to walking as opposed to taking a taxi. Now, in terms of which specific casinos you want to stay at, like I said, there's a couple different things that really factor into that decision. Now, my recommendation, it's one of the most expensive places to stay in Vegas, but I always spend the extra money because for me, it's totally worth it, is the Cosmopolitan of Las Vegas. So, location, it's absolutely perfect, dead center of the Strip, right next to the Bellagio, right in between the brand new City Center, so Aria, the Vdara, Mandarin Oriental. All those hotels are pretty much right there along with this really nice shopping center, the Crystal Shopping Center. Cosmopolitan is pretty much right there in the middle of everything. So one of the other awesome things about it, if you get a room that's facing on the north side, now you'll see when you go on their website and you're looking to book a room, they offer something called the Fountain View. Basically what that is, that's any of their northern facing rooms, because the rooms that are facing the north, that's where the Bellagio is, that's where the fountain is. So right from your balcony, because the majority of the rooms at the Cosmopolitan are suites and they all have balconies, except for a few of the rooms that are on the south side that are non-suite rooms. Anyway, I digress. If you get any of those rooms, you can watch the fountain show from your balcony day and night, and the view is absolutely insane. It's well worth the money that you pay. The rooms are great. Service is absolutely phenomenal. I've never had an issue staying there. Restaurants are great, pools are great, the bars are phenomenal. I really don't have any complaints about that hotel. And again, if you are trying to go to some of the clubs in Vegas, Marquee Day Club and Nightclub is one of the best clubs in Vegas. I've always had a great time every time I've gone there over the years. Really, you can't go wrong if you stay at the Cosmopolitan. However, you want to book early because, like I said, if you don't, it can get pretty expensive. Like I said, it's in really high demand and it's one of the most expensive on the Strip. That being said, in terms of other places to stay on the Strip, for a little bit more of a budget, but still in a good location, take a look at the MGM Grand, take a look at New York, Monte Carlo, the Mirage. Any of these hotels are generally not too expensive. Both the Mirage and the MGM have really good pools that are at their hotels. MGM has phenomenal restaurants as well. It's absolutely massive. I mean, you'd be surprised at how big the MGM Grand really is. But again, any of these hotels generally don't run you too much. MGM, depending on what's going on, if they have any kind of fight or convention going on, because they have a huge convention center. They have some like gigantic big conventions every year. Or if they have, you know, one of the big boxing fights like they did for Pacquiao Mayweather, it can get a little expensive. But again, it's literally just across the street. You can stay at New York. And if you're trying to catch any of the hockey games or anything going on at the big arena that they have right there on the strip now, it's literally right there. Those, depending on the season, when you book, you can find rooms for sometimes like $45 a night. That's all. So again, it's like dirt cheap. So again, if you book that hotel early, you can spend a lot more money for stuff that you want to do in Vegas. So that's just a couple of my recommendations. Okay, so last thing I just want to leave out with. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you found some of that advice helpful. Whether it was, whether it wasn't, if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. I'll try and answer. But whatever happens, if you go to Vegas, if you don't, I really hope you do. And if you do, I hope you have a great time. So if you enjoyed this video, let me know. I will try and make a few others. More on like what to do in Las Vegas, where to eat. Couple little tips and tricks that might help you actually save money with some of the stuff you might do in Las Vegas that I found worked for me. But again, just let me know. But anyway, whatever happens, hope you have a good time in Vegas.